The beautiful city of London is currently the home to the minors and majors from FACEIT 2018. It's a lovely scene here. The weather is just about optimal outside if you want to get out and about, some shorts, some flip-flops on, or as my companion here, Sponge, would say, is your thongs.
Yeah, get your thongs on.
But in America, when we say that, it's more so something completely different. You don't want to go outside in your thongs.
You can have both.
You could have the best.
I'm not saying you can't have both.
But what do you call the other thongs in Australia?
G-strings.
Okay.
There we go.
That's fair enough. But holy moly, red beans and ravioli, would you believe it that the Renegades have lost 16-14 in the match? It's going to send them down to the lower bracket. We're going to be seeing them play later on. But for now, we got a little bit of VG.Flash versus Boot, and that is our first best of 3 of the day here at the FACEIT Asia Minor at Twickenham in London. Now, guys, quite the matchup we have on our hands here. Could be a really explosive style of CS between both teams, obviously having played each other more so in the past than, say, Renegades in these teams.
Well, they do have a little bit more history on one another, but here's the thing. Both teams have a stand-in. Vici Gaming, relatively hamstrung by having their coach stand-in, who really had very little impact and was exploited in the opening game of the day by Scars over towards that B bomb site on Mirage. Less so for that of Boot, but their bigger issue is not the caliber of the player, but more so the fact they just got off an aeroplane coming from Singapore. So this is going to be, here's how I want to pose this. Trace, what is something that you're really bad at in life? And I know it's difficult. I want you to think hard, though.
Well, I mean, there's just so many things that I guess I'm really bad at.
Just pick one. Like maybe art or painting or something.
Yeah, let's go painting.
Okay, so if I'm also terrible at that. So it's like if you and I were having a paint-off and Blair, who is really good at drawing, had to judge it. Now, that's kind of what this game's going to be, like 2 teams who are going to really suck at a situation, both for different reasons.
But who sucks more?
Exactly.
Okay. Are we going to get out the coin here? We might have to.
The coin actually may come out.
Yeah, it might have to in this scenario. Let's talk a little bit about Vici versus Boot. Now, this could be, I mean, I just have to say that I think with Boot in the current flying situation, the whole flight thing that happened, and then on top of that, you know, you play your first match, you look forward to it, you've been flying in this airplane, hey, I'm going to play this match. Maybe that adrenaline starts to subside just a little bit, could leave them in a much weaker state.
Yeah, but at the same time, right, I don't really think they're going to have that much of pressure going into this particular matchup because you're talking about Vici Gaming, one of the favorites coming into this tournament. You expect them to reach the playoffs, then Attacker decides to play basketball and kind of screw his team over, and now they're stuck with the stand-in. And here's the thing, he's a coach, he's not even a player.
Yeah.
Bulbasaur, on the other hand, he has played as a stand-in for Boot in the past. He's played for the IM Cologne qualifier, for example.
Yep.
So he at least has an inkling of how the structure works, and he at least has the aim. We saw that today when he was playing against Renegades. And overall, right, like, it kind of felt like Boot seemed like a better team. They seemed more composed against Renegades, even though against a tougher opponent, compared to VG, who just seemed to kind of fall apart. And let's be honest, even though the scoreline was a little close against SE Absolute, it was because SE Absolute were kind of playing some little dicey CS on the CD side, but it was 11-4 scoreline on a map like Mirage, which, you know, they used to be really dominant on. So I really think going to this particular matchup, although it is kind of 50-50, I would give the edge to the Singaporeans.
But Boot does have a Pokemon.
That's true, they do. They do. What do you reckon his power is?
I don't know anything about Pokemon. That's one thing I'm really bad at.
Bulbasaur, isn't it like the water one?
No, Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur is the leafy one.
Leafy?
The leafy one.
He's got the vines that come out of his back.
So his power is from the green. All right.
Chad, got anything you want to add there?
Yeah, no, that went well and truly over my head. But if we look at the Vici players on your screen right now, they need to. It is a best of 3.
Yeah.
So in the best of 3, you're probably going to get a map that you're not feeling too comfortable on, and the stand-in factor, if they can hide him, and I know this sounds ridiculous, but if they can hide him on the CT side, or they use him for an information play time and time again, not put him in a position where he can just not give up the site, but if they have to
get run over.
Well, if they have to leverage him, if they have to play off...
It's kind of hard, though, right?
No, but you need to set the tone early. Here's what you do. You need to use... like, okay, well, we know that he plays this bomb site. Well, let's bolster that very early and show that we're willing to make these gambit calls. You want to be the one setting the tone as opposed to catching up. And look, the best way of doing that is getting in their face.
Play to your pace rather than your opponent's pace or into their game plan.
Damn straight.
I think, though, that you're exactly right when it comes to positioning him. You don't necessarily want him to be that frontline contender that, hey, you know what, it's like B Mirage, like just getting run over and then you kind of just
it's meant to be the easiest spot.
It.
That's the thing, though, right? It's also one of the most boring spots and hardest bomb sites to retake on that map.
So. And also, here's the thing, though, right? They don't really have an in-game leader, let's be honest. Like, these are like 5 mat fraggers who just go in and take take heads. He's the coach. Now, to be very honest, is not really known as like the best mind in CS in Asia, right? Like, for example, we had Karsa when he was the in-game leader for Tyloo, right? They actually had those big upsets here and there, anti-stratting and whatnot. But ZHZ, if he actually knows what he's doing, and if he can kind of carry the role of being an in-game leader, like he doesn't really have to do the fragging. You have Zoking, you have Fancy, you have Freeman. These guys are
big names.
Man for man, they're, I think, better aimers than anyone in Boot, to be very honest, right? So I think if he can just carry the role, try and be the in-game leader inside the server, try and like sit in the middle, be kind of like the hive mind boss, so to speak, I think they have a chance here. But it all is going to come down to the map. If they're going to go for that, if they have to play a more tactical map, for example, like we saw on Mirage and B-Bomb side, where they were very susceptible to those hits, like if they go for, let's say, a train, if they go for a nuke, for example, it can get a little dicey for the Chinese.
You want to talk about it being dicey? We've talked about the Pokemon, we've talked about Bulbasaur, but do you know Tommy? Do you know Impression? Do you know Binkai?
What about Splashkey? He also sounds like Pokemon.
What about him? Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the Boot players and kind of shift the conversation now to this Boot Dreamscape team.
Well, this is a Blair buffet right here. This is where he can give you the synopsis on this Singaporean squad.
Yeah. I mean, I spoke about them earlier. They are a frustrating team because they have so much potential, right? Just going back in the day, Chad, we spoke about this earlier yesterday as well, right? Singapore has a legacy when it comes to Counter-Strike. From back in 1.6 to CS Stores, they had really good teams like Team Titans, not that Titan, Team Titans, who are also a Singaporean org, by the way. Titan was a Singaporean org. They have a lot of history, and they actually transitioned into CSGO directly from Source in 1.6. So they have that legacy, unlike the rest of Asia, where they had to start from scratch. Singapore, they actually had something to build on. And so, based on that, you would expect this team to be a top-tier team. And they are one of the top teams in Asia, except for the fact that they're almost untouchable online. They take down Tyloo regularly, like every other day. They qualify for IM Sydney, they qualify for Cologne, they qualify for so many events, big LAN events. But I think with that previous game right now, their loss streak now goes to 11 maps in a row.
That's pretty nice.
Which is rough. So that's that.
How about this? We highlighted some players just prior to the match starting, ones that we really could look out for here in a sort of head-to-head comparison. And it was going to be Bulbasaur and Zoking. And if what is it? Is it?
Well, let's just call him Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur.
Yeah, let's just call him.
I like Bulbasaur.
I think Leslie is a lovely name.
Bobo. I like Bobo.
All right, let's talk about what sticks out here between these two players. And the Bled Buffet is back in business.
Okay, those stats are pretty much a mirror of each other, right? Okay, here's the thing. Bulbasaur, unknown quantity. He plays for a team called Candy Camels in Singapore.
Candy Camels?
Yes, I don't know what that
Instilling fear in the opponent's heart from the get-go. Oh, man, we got them camels, man.
And he's kind of like a stand-in player, not really well-known, to be honest. Zoking, on the other hand, a very, very storied veteran, I'd say, by now in the Chinese scene, is definitely a star. And although those stats look very similar, I'll be very honest, Zoking has obviously played against a higher caliber of opponents all the time, and yet he's managed to get those stats compared to Bulbasaur, right? So Bulbasaur's going to be the guy to watch here, primarily because he's a stand-in. He's going to be instrumental in ensuring that Dreamscape, if they can take the win. Zoking, of course, being, in the absence of attacker, the other explosive rifler. He is hit or miss. You've seen him play, right? Like, he's got this really low sensitivity, but if you see him play, you're like, wow, this guy's playing at like Woxic level of sensitivity.
He's moving fast.
He just moves really, really fast. He's got massive forearms, twice the size of mine, and yeah.
You know what? It's Zoking important is this map veto. We're going to our first best of 3 of the day, and the first band coming in is going to be Train. Doesn't look like VG wants to play Train right now, that's for sure.
One of the better maps for Boot, so that makes sense getting rid of that. I think, this is going to be a relatively... if you're Boot, you're in more of a position to punish with your picks, and I think you're at Vici because the level of exploitation in terms of the individual between Z8Z and Bulbasaur or Bulbasaur is quite stark. So I think we're going to see probably the Caches, the Mirages, the Infernos, the Dust 2s, the words Cache?
Cache.
You say potato, I say potato. You say tomato, I say tomato.
And I say Sponge, and it's really Spud.
Spud anyway, Flanagan.
Anyway, yes, it's going to be Cache. It's going to be a little bit of Dust 2 there in the second map. Should we make it to a third? Where do we see it going, guys?
I think it might actually be Mirage coming out. They're all playing very safe here. This is what's surprising for me, right? The fact that, okay, VG, they're playing a map Cache which they're very comfortable on. It's also the best map for Boot, which is unfortunate because Boot keep losing. Yeah, it's gonna be Inferno.
Okay.
All right, that makes things a little interesting. Question here is going to be the first 2 maps. It's Dust 2. It's Cache. It's going to be a very puggy map. It's where aim is really going to shine on through. Although, to be honest, I actually enjoy watching Boot Dreamscape on Cache. They actually have a pretty good approach to the map. It's not just randomly running around taking heads. They have a structure there. So I'm going to really think, just looking at this, the way the maps played out, I think it's going to go to map number 3, but I'm going to give Boot the edge just based off the maps there.
Okay, Chad, who do you got?
I'm going to go with Boot as well. I think we'll get that rematch against Renegades later in the day. I just think Vici, unfortunately, this stand-in factor is going to be too much. Too many adjustments have to be made, and he's just not a fragger, old Z8Z.
You never know. You know what? You can never sleep on anyone, Chad. This is Counter-Strike. Anything can happen at any given time. Just ask these next two that know all about that. It's going to be James and Dan.
Cheers. What do you have to say, James? What do you have to say? What do you think?
I like
what do
the
you
maps.
make of this?
I love me some
like
open maps. Yes, I think it will be very interesting to see. I think that it's a good series of maps to show some demonstration of individual skill at the very least. So I'm looking forward to it. Starting on Cash, it looks like Boots will be starting on the T side, so maybe they can give them the Boots and stuff. All right, let's see. Z8Z with a smoke and a diffuse kit. And Bobasaur.
He's skating around. Do you see that?
Are we saying Bobosaur or Bobasaur?
Bob, obviously Bobasaur.
Why is it obvious?
Because Bob.
I don't play Pokemon.
Bob is amazing.
Yeah, but what if it's
It's an amazing
Bobo
name.
as opposed to Bob?
It's definitely
That's
Bobasaur.
It's not obvious.
Well, we get the flash in through A main, and then Kai will be sent forward. So it looked like that was just a distraction to make it look like an A play. But the B play now is going to be coming in, and all the CTs will be on their rotation. And that's a very good start from Freeman. Choking as well, getting in there. And the bomb.
Ooh, planting
get
for
the bomb
vents,
down,
but they don't have control of vents. That's
no.
Come on, man.
Get the safe plant.
Why would you do that? There's no one there. It's a pistol. You can't be doing that kind of thing on a pistol round. Let me just plant for the vents, guys. Oh, everyone's dead. And the CTs have the vent, and now I'm dead as well.
Yeah.
And there's no plant. Come on.
That's
round number 1. Why are you making mistakes like that? Come on.
Yeah, because the position you're in there as well, you have to assume that you're going to lose the round because of how everything has gone. So, but what you can do is get the bomb down, or maybe not.
I mean, it's not only that you have no cover. It's like, who are you planting the bomb for? Nobody is there. I don't know. I don't know. Like, you're probably going to have to frag out regardless. There's just...
Well, you just
I
want
didn't need to see. I didn't need to see that.
Just want to guarantee the point.
I did not need to see that.
Anyways, mistakes early on aside, it's up to the Eagles to get some damage in, and they're trying to rattle off some shots. But I think it's pretty clear to VG exactly what Boot are attempting to do here. They've got a bunch of Eagles. They're looking for picks. Now, depending on how confident or not you are, you can try to fight them, but it's inadvisable. The Deagles will lose the round as soon as they have to move on to a bomb site. So if you just force them into your setups and they have no nades to deny your setups, you just automatically win this round. So that's just all you have to do. So just have to be disciplined, be patient. The frags will come. You don't have to go and peek for them. And so far, VG are not over peeking or anything like that. So that's good to see. Fancy's just looking for info. And here's a drop. Easy does it.
I wonder how discipline relates to the word disciple. The etymology of these words. Okay, Deagles. Okay. Okay. Well, this is a thing. What were you saying about setups, Dan? Looks like Shoking has some work to do. Tommy's picked up a FAMAS. The HE grenade probably won't be... he has no idea what second player is. Now he knows, and now they're both dead.
Well, it started to go badly. I forget which player it was who was on the boost, but he took a really deep angle, and that was an overpeak. So he took a really deep angle, and obviously, there's probably a lot of rounds where the teams don't check for that, but the Boot players were cognizant of someone who could be there, and so they were looking from team main, and so he gave an angle into team main, whereas if he just stays in the corner, like his highway is completely covered by Shoking, so he could just stay there, and then when the Deagle has to wide peek as they run out of A main, they're never getting the kill. So some over peaks, and you have problems. They got to make a lot of money this round. Quick flash comes in, but Lovely doesn't peek with it.
Quick flash.
And once again, these Deagles do pose a threat, especially with the damage done in the previous round. This has to be a flawless round. VG have to find a way to make this flawless to make up for the last round, and it's already ruined. It's ruined.
It's not what they wanted, Jim. Pop flash from Showking, jumping over the end of the Molotov. Did he see the player in the sunroom? Not quite sure, but even if he did, it was just one player. Oh, this is a lovely setup here. But the flashbang is just not deployed at all. How could they know? They didn't see really anybody outside, so this is a nasty surprise, and Boot could do more damage here. Well, I mean, oh my god.
The Deagles, man.
Like, even if Lovey was to win this round, where's the money? They got no cash.
This is actually amazing. So they're hitting some really nice shots consistently here.
Ooh, bonus molly. He has to wait though, and he has got a kit, but I mean,
just save it at this point, right?
I don't know. I mean, at this, like,
I don't think he's gonna get in.
It's very unlikely, obviously, but I feel like
22 HP.
Oh yeah, 22 HP. Okay, fair
MP9.
enough.
Yeah, he can't take a fight. Yeah, this is now what I'm really interested in is the consistency of Boot just hitting these shots. Was this just like 2 incredible rounds where they're able to just hit everything with a Deagle, or is that actually going to be a trend? There we go. We see 1 frag. Very nice. Bulbasaur is just on a tear. Ooh, that was gorgeous. All right, yeah. I'm hyped for the Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur.
Got a 1 dig 'em all.
Bulbasaur Bubblington.
Okay then, VG.Flash with. I mean, this is quite a start. It's a very unusual start, bearing in mind all those Deagle kills, the plant in the first round and so on. There's the first flash. There's a second one if needed. As you can see, they're prepared for this. Bulbasaur looking dangerous.
He is dangerous, isn't he? Bulbasaur unleashed. What's the next evolution?
I don't know anything about Pokemon or anime. 1 minute mark. Boots looking for more from their controller of the checker's position. Not committing the bomb just yet. Tommy's by a squeaky door. Z8Z by the car. You can see Benkai in mid. Splash making his way with the bomb towards the A site. There is some rotation from the CTs. Benkai looking to flank. Meanwhile, more players are lost on the B bomb site, but Fiji think that these are stalling tactics. Benkai's got to be careful how deep he peeks here. That box will give you some cover if you crouch. He manages to escape, and Fancy's got an M4 now, and he's on the fire, and now he's dead. So this is a war of attrition. In these eco rounds and such, we're seeing many people get fragged.
Yeah, some good damage has been done to everyone. no one is spared any of the damage. But I'm just really like, I wasn't expecting to see that individual level out of Boot. To be fair, we did watch them on Train, right? And so I suppose, you know, to be fair, Train is a bit of a difficult map to really assess a team. We discussed that.
Yes.
So this is a really cool way to see more of what they're capable of to begin with in this best of 3. Boots. I also like just saying Boots. So that's good.
You can keep saying it if you want. It's an eco round.
I can keep saying Boots.
Why don't you buy some boots? Do you have boots?
I've got Chelsea boots.
I love me some Chelsea boots.
Don't think I have any other kind of boots. I had to throw my other ones away.
Timberland boots?
Yeah, I had to throw the Timberlands away. They were
Timberland boots.
Old and worn.
Tan Chelsea boots. Black Chelsea boots. I got Roadman sneaker boots. My favourite shoes are sneaker boots. MX 90s, let's go.
Just want to say for any
you need good boots to kick doors open.
Americans listening, I always find it really weird that in America you call it like sneakers, because what does that, like, where did that come from?
Well, they don't make a sound versus traditional shoes.
Yeah, but isn't that like very sinister? Like, is that the verb? Like, you're going to be sneaking up on people when you, is that the purpose?
Well, I guess there was a time where the answer would be yes.
It seems very sinister. This is this round is not being clean for Boot. Got a clean. Oh, never mind. I feel like there's a lot of very lame puns. That
I feel like just going Garage MC mode. B-double-O-T!
B to the O to the O to the T. So I feel like it's a bit of a minefield. I'm avoiding a lot of dodgy puns. I made a good one with Poem. I think you actually missed it.
I heard it. I just didn't respond. I wasn't impressed.
It was really good.
In your opinion?
Yeah.
My opinion's a fact.
So 3-2, and Boot will survive. The AK was collected by Summer, though. That was dropped. So that's going to be really nice for VG in this round. But they're still recovering. They're still recovering from this horrible economic turmoil that they've been experiencing. Oh, they're going to go for the buy. All right. They don't want to wait for the AWP. Just going to go with this. This can be fine if they have good aggressions, good plays to make with the nades that they have. And there it is. Shoking will go aggressive with his teammates on B storage. And they will take a player down. They won't dig in anybody. Although it looks like they will leave Freeman there by himself. The free man.
Minute 20. Vici looking at what is going on in the mid position. That grenade went quite deep. Bomb left in T warehouse for now. Boot showing presence towards B. And that will mean Lovey rotating towards the B bomb site. So it's a 1-1-3 setup from Vici, but they don't really have the info. There is one flashbang on Fancy, and he's in a middle position. So you don't get those pop flash peaks over towards the B bomb site. They have to play reactively completely. And now we've got Boot charging into the A bomb site with only Z8Z there. And I think they're ill-equipped for the retake here, Vici Gaming. Fancy is committing to this play. Some pre-fire towards Fork. They've got to get a frag soon. Fancy and Shoking are pretty low, so there are already decisions to be made here, and it looks like Vici may be backing off for a save.
Yeah, not too much for them to do. Boots with a very simple open and close to this round. And the only issue really, again, for Vici is, like, because they bought in this round straight up, they denied themselves the AWP, and now it's going to be a spot where they are going to drop guns for their teammates, and they still won't have an AWP unless Fancy could drop an AWP, I think. Yeah, so Fancy could drop an AWP, which he should, I think. And if he drops an AWP, Freeman drops like a FAMAS. Freeman can load up on nades. So yeah, the AWP has been purchased, and a FAMAS has been dropped. Okay, that's cool. And so they can all have nades. So they actually did it right. So there's been a few occasions where we get the correct choice in some of these economic, like marginal economic situations, but they do it.
Nice. They are very well equipped. Fancy having a look in the main position, and Splash is there as well. And now Fancy will back off. In the meantime, there is a brief, a prompt charge into the B bomb. Are they committing to this Boot? Freeman fights to the death, and he goes down. Flashbangs from Lovey over the top, but there's no one to flash for anymore. Benkai's been picked off. Z8Z looking to flank. Tommy's looking for it, though. So I think the next frag, if it goes the way of Boot, it's safe territory once more. Ooh, great correction there from Z8Z. Tommy was pretty low. I think if Tommy got that frag, the round is over, but the round is on.
If they knew the smoke for checkers, that'd be really helpful right now. I think Fancy would have had to have thrown it, but he gets the frag with the AWP. Now the last player has been spotted, or the last player's impression on the site will eventually get taken down. A war of attrition indeed, as both teams suffer heavy losses in this round. But importantly, Vici are able to get their first round in a while on the board, their first buy versus buy on the board, and unfortunately for Lovey, he couldn't find the AWP in time, which is going to be really awkward because Boot have loads of cash, and now VG, they don't have an AWP now, so what do they do here? Oh, it's a bit awkward. Presumably they'll go for some aggression. Previously they chose B storage, not this time though. Oh no, Fancy caught completely in the open. You do not want to see that.
Those fast boosts are a hell of a pain to deal with, especially when you're playing mid on your own. Shoking smoked off the position. Will he stay there, or what will he choose to do? Staying there for the time being. Some pre-fire in case someone's trying to abuse a gap. And it seems that BOOTS are setting up for a split of the B bomb site. Oh, patiently waiting for the re-peek there. Shoking getting curious. And now the window's been smashed. Double Molotovs at the back of the site. Freeman trying to create space, but he is on fire. And that's a problem. Back of the site now. Still alive, and those are the flashes that you need while you're still alive. Coming in over the top from your teammates. But again, the site's been taken 4 versus 2. And this round should be over.
Yeah, this is a pretty rough reset. He can upgrade the UMP and get the hell out of there. But I don't think there's any point using this incendiary, as they could have kept that into the next rounds. There's no way they're taking this bomb site back. So I suppose just investing utility to try to help save the weapons, but VG is such an awkward position. They're going to get $1,900 for this round, so the next round is a full save. Or it should be. They shouldn't really be investing. They've got the 2 rifles, and they can maybe make a play around those, but they can treat the rifles as somewhat disposable. You know, create an interesting play with them. Maybe, you know, get with a flashbang or something like that. See if you can get some damage. Try to engineer something, but you don't really want those 3 other players who died to invest here. Well, I guess I'm wrong. They will go for the force buy. Because they could have had 1 more save, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've done the math incorrectly. Either way, they're going to go for the force. Let's see if it works out. I think this is going to be really rough. Because Boot have been pretty consistent.
Well, we have the second player now in the mid position. Obviously, this is not the ideal situation, but I do wonder when the full buy comes in for VG. These wallbangs from Splashies all over the place. I do wonder if they have now been conditioned to put 2 people in the mid area, because one, it has been a struggle. Just having 1 player on. That's the last smoke grenade for the CT side. And there's plenty of time on the clock here for Boot.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the force buy, but Boot have kicked things off well. They got a pick into the A site. They're going to go for the mid take now, and this really has to be where something goes well for VG. Like, Shoking has to get something with this 5-7 to make a chance happen here, and he'll get immediately taken down. That's a 5v3. 45 seconds left. Boot can now decide to do whatever the hell they want. They can move up highway. They've got a player in Squeaky. The bomb can go back through A main, although it would be alone. That should be okay. Although time is of the essence here. Lovey may be the one to try to stop this now. That's a big frag. Now they can just work the crossfire towards highway, and everything is falling apart. Baba saw he needed to get that frag, and this A play has not worked out, but maybe there is a chance. They're completely abandoned the B bomb site, and Splashky's got an AWP, and he has time to plant the bomb here. He has no idea, like, where how much time he has until the CTs arrive, but he can maybe win this round.
Does he hear Freeman? Freeman looks like he wants to give the 1 versus 1, slowly backing off, and that is a very smart decision. Ooh, has he been seen perhaps? This is a very awkward spot for Splash. Oh, he's unlucky there.
If he hits that, it's so on.
3 players. It's weird. Boot came up highway with 3 players, with Splash lurking in main, or Boost, whichever one it was on the radar with the bomb. But that means that they don't have anybody on A, in main, to deal with the forklift position, for example, or force anybody away from their positions. So they move into a crossfire. I can see there's a Molotov there, but
yeah, they had a man on a Squeaky who was just sort of watching and waiting, but they also sent the bomb alone as well in A main, so that's also a bit suboptimal, I think. And fast take of middle. Oh, look at Impression go. He's just straight in there. He's in there.
He is in very quickly indeed. Will they make a play through the smoke as well? They will, and that'll be good for a trade back at the very least. And down goes Freeman in the red and now dead. 4 versus 3, and this is disaster area for Vici Gaming. That's a lovely grenade onto Tommy. Nice spectating as well. Observing rather, whatever you prefer. 3 versus 3, the retake is doable. Lovely looking for potential flank, but no such luck. Splashes towards the T-spawn direction. Benkai holding the vent, and Bobasaur has been left alone to focus on the high and low ground. Different approach for the flashbang that we normally see. Peeks, and Lovey was waiting. Now Lovey moving wide, and Benkai has been spotted. Just a question of where Splash is. This is not going well so far. He's missed another close range shot. They're lining up for him. But you can't miss those shots in the clutch situations. You really got to deliver those frags. And that was a very successful retake for VG. I thought that Boots might have done better in that situation. I thought their positions were strong, but, well, theoretical position, not physical position, because there was one T left to cover higher and lower. Flashbang didn't get any mileage, and I almost feel like Vici may have been let back into the game, mainly from the round prior with the 3 people in the highway position. But Boots still have a buy. 4 Molotovs. In comes a flash, and Z8Z is dead. That hasn't worked out for him. Lovey. Oh well, that's a wipeout. 4 versus 2 now. Freeman going towards the car position, but I think this is one of those situations where you really need that. Oh, he takes it in the face. You really need like an early frag to spur you on to go for it. Otherwise, 2 versus 4 rather. You're not investing into that. Taking a grenade in the face doesn't help either. And there we go, Boot back to winning ways. But 2 rounds rather than 1. 1 for Vici. Interestingly, the 3 rounds the CTs have won since the pistol and the round after, all defuses. And almost every round Boot have won has been by detonation. So Boot are having much success in all the rounds, regardless of if they're won or lost.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're getting the bombs down as the T side, it's definitely a good sign that you're creating winnable positions. And that's what it's all about, creating advantageous winnable positions. In the counter-strike. In the counter. Trying to do the Aussie thing that Sponge does. The counter. So with the AWPs out for both teams, it's going to be quite cool to see how the opening picks are made. Fast mid-take coming in again, or the attempt at least, thwarted by the pre-incendiary from Fancy there. Lovey almost getting the second as well. Does some good damage, and wow, okay, they're creeping into the smoke. Oh, Savage. He can smell the weakness. He'll close it down, stealing the AK. Beautiful start for VG Gaming. VG.Flash Gaming. And now in the 2v4 things get very awkward. I think the mid-take is definitely a good choice. Ooh, a chance. He gets a connection too. But down to 4 HP. That's very unfortunate for Boots. And Shokin getting position in Sunroom or B storage is important. It allows them to cheat more players towards the A side of the map and towards middle.
I don't know if the vent has been popped yet. Yes, it has, but never mind all that. Flashes on his own. Keeps missing these shots. He's missed a lot of shots at medium to close range, and those are the easiest shots to hit. It's the long range shots, which I would argue can be the hardest to be the most consistent. I mean, the closer you are, the bigger the target is, right? But there have been at least 3 rounds. Not that losing that round was his fault, but with a best of 3 to play, he needs to start landing those shots, because otherwise they could be the difference between a win and a loss later on.
Oh, gotta be careful. Fancy will take a lot of damage. Oh my god, just committing to that. And perhaps they should learn the run boost. So a 4v5 for VG with Fancy very weak. And because he's so weak, he's given up his position in middle. Boot have a huge amount of space now on the map. They can do whatever the hell they want. As long as they go together, they will be fine. And, you know, this is the stage where you can push 5 people through a choke point if you have enough, like, the right grenades to go with it. Just try to trade out, use good spacing. But Lovey, can he get the multi-kill here? He needs a lot of frags to make this work. There's the first one. Continuation spray perhaps? No. Denied.
He will see the bomb, but the numbers game should be too great. And, well, Fancy gets another one. Molotov goes towards Forklift, which allows him to hold angles on the bomb site. But Bobasaur bouncing up on the Forklift. That was a very important frag from him. Who the hell knows what might have happened otherwise. Nice off angle from Bobasaur. This man's ready to play, baby.
I have no idea, like, between these two teams, based on what I've seen, who really takes favor. I mean, they've both been quite back and forth, and, you know, on the desk they set it up and said, you know, VG might struggle a bit with having the stand-in and so on, and Boot have, you know, all this potential, but, you know, potential being the operative word. Oh, big push coming in on B storage. Absolute shutdown here. Boots just take the round, I think. 4 versus 2, 4 versus 1, and 4 versus none. 8-6, a very fast one, as the rush is shut down, and the money's also shut down. VG have nothing left in the tank here for the last round.
Not Boot in a okay position. Well, I suppose it'll be a good position if they close the half 9-6. Hello, showing some leg. He could have gone. I think he probably would have done more damage if he went for the chest through the wall as opposed to a clean shot on the leg. There's a nice flick from Device in that position on Snacks, I want to say, which I made a clip of. Don't recall how much damage was done, but he didn't even see the leg, so that's a easy enough lineup. Yeah,
Oscar's really good at those shots too. Just like knowing like the perfect positions and angles to not show yourself and then do the wall bangs and so on.
Boot taking it slow. They know VG are in a less than ideal situation. They're just waiting for this kind of aggression. And they're allowing VG to exhaust their ideas, their utility, their hope. Let despair settle in. Fear. Can almost smell the desperation.
Oh, Fancy's found a timing, gets the AK, second one found, third one could be coming soon. It's Freeman that gets it. Fancy's play will not be in vain as Freeman looks to try to close things down, but he'll get taken out by Splashski, and that's the 9-8, or 9-6, sorry, that Boots were looking for, and that's a pretty decent half for them, I think.
I think so, yeah.
I think VG would... I mean, there was some forks in the road, I think, for VG, where things could have been very different. For example, the force buy versus saving one round and having max everything and AWP and so on. So either way, what's done is done. It comes down to this pistol here now, and VG can absolutely find redemption with a good pistol, and it's Z8Z who has the utility for the team. They're going to go for that classic A play.
I like Fancy's position, just jumping on the spool into warehouse to make sure there's no push in mid, as there often can be in a pistol round. Smoke down and Tees will cross to the site. Pretty simple stuff. Impression has a smoke grenade and a defuse kit. We'll see if he can get his best DAPS impression on and try and get a smoke diffuse going on while his teammates run distraction with the numbers. And the site's almost been abandoned, but VG, they're moving back onto the site, which I think is smart. Choking with 2 frags so far. The exchange continues. The smoke and kit are on the floor somewhere. Now we've got Fancy trying to do it on his own, but he can't do it. That is worst case scenario for VG. Well, they have the plant at least, but and that might help them avoid a 12-6 scoreline. But there it is. Boot win the pistol. That is huge for them.
And one thing that was cool at the end there is that Boot were quite synchronized. We'll see them coming off the bomb here for a double peek. Now they had a kit, so the guy who is already defusing with the kit, and the T cannot get there in time. I was actually worried that his teammate would take the 1v1, die, and then he would come off the bomb prematurely, and then die as well in the 1v1. But they were synchronized. That's great. And the AK purchase here, fancy, very CIS style. And he'll swap the AK onto Freeman, who does not have any Kevlar. Ooh, Freeman popping heads. Splashkey gone. Now it's a 3v5 for Boots. They have a lot of advantages, but the numbers might pay off.
It's a difficult position for Boot. One frag for any of these players is not enough, but how do you position yourself to do better than that? 2, okay. He sees the information on 1 player, doesn't see the bomb, but 3 players in A is quite telling, I think it's fair to say, although they could go anywhere now. Now there are questions for Boot. There are a few weapons to be collected, and there is one onto Fancy. Bobasaurus keeping an eye on the mid position though, and he can get an upgrade on that MP9. Now these 2 players move towards the B bomb site. They do not have Kevlar. There's a grenade onto Benkai, and if he goes up the ramp and throws it onto the site, that could be absolutely devastating. So ZDZ's position is better now. It would be too risky to get a good angle to throw it off the wall, but he's deployed it.
Nice. Retake smokes.
Ooh, there we go, yeah. All right then, we have ZDZ isolated, and now he is gone.
Wow.
Makes such a difference, doesn't it?
It's so, yeah, it really does, because otherwise he can maybe just do like these small strays and just like tapping, and maybe he can get like a kill, and then it's a 1v1, and all of a sudden, you know, defusing the bomb becomes very, very hard. So well played by Boot to calm things down at the end. I loved how much we saw VG swapping around the AK. The AK was used on 3 different players, and 2 of which got kills with it. So that was really cool. They swapped pistols around, they swapped the AK around. It's really cool. And full buy for both teams. This is a massive swing round right now, because if Boot win this, you know, that's the economy gone for VG, and it's it'll probably go to 13 rounds before VG can offer anything again. And likewise, VG, if they take this one, they'll be in a more comfortable space, 3 rounds away from equalizing. Very tense. Delayed mid-take from VG.
Trades there. Now the man advantage for Boots. Bomb not spotted just yet. You know, 1 more person is on the boost. A fight they don't need to take. Preemptive smoke may save Tommy from a Molotov, and that smoke actually might give him a place to fight with perhaps, but he'll fall back. 4 on 3, and one of these 3 players is on a Mach 10. Only Impression lacks a helmet. He's over towards the B bomb site. Splash on A on his own. He has a Molotov to deploy. He's going to hold his gun out, and that might be quite good. Almost a second frag there. Now, Lovey, can he get to default to plant the bomb? 2K for Lovey on the site. Impression moving to E-box, but he's got the wrong angle. Lovey running distraction, and all of a sudden, this round has turned on its head.
Only 2 players, though. We've seen what Bobasaur is capable of. Does he go for the AK on the grounds? That would give his position away, so he wisely does not do that. But he's looking everywhere. He's going to be so careful. Not really committing to checking something there. It's just sort of, like, in clutches you can't check everything. That's why it's so hard. And he gets caught completely off guard by that close position. Really good save there from VG. Honestly, it looked like they were done in that round. And we get the 4 spy out of Boots. 4 Deagles. I mean, we've seen what what Bobasaur was able to do in the first half with the Deagles. So
He's in the right bomb site as well.
Ooh,
that was... Oh, I could have... never mind.
If the first... Like, if he hadn't spammed the first 2 shots before, like, opening up to those 3 players, would have been interesting.
Many things could have happened. Many things could have happened, but many things did not. And VG Gaming, opportunity knocks. For sure, for show. For show, King.
I wanted to see the double headshot with the Deagle.
Yes.
Because you just never see that. You never see it. It's so rare.
You want to see carnage, anguish, despair.
So VG converting.
What's impression going for here?
They've stolen the 1 AK, so that's really useful. And he's got a couple of flashes, a smoke. There are plays to be made. Benkai has a smoke too. They've got armor. I just hope they don't overinvest in this round. Okay, we've seen a smoke. No, we've seen a pistol purchased, or they're just throwing them around. Okay, so I think a Deagle was swapped, and a Kevlar was bought and a flashbang. So that's okay. Let's see what they can do with it. This could be another scary round for Boots, rather for VG. That's a good start.
Okay. Benkai's picked up the AK in the middle position. Bobasaur. I'm avoiding any puns.
Nice. that's an important one.
Ooh, what's going on here? Is the AK retrievable? Is this in the smoke? I'm not sure. Impression's moving away from it with his Deagle. Splashes in from the back. He's being waited for though by Lovey. Ooh, okay. Okay, collected. And Impression will move away. Alright then. Next round, let's see. Interesting times. Do you favour a team yet?
No, not really. It's pretty close between these two teams. Oh no, that's very sad for Impression.
Oh no.
Obviously he can buy anyway, but just having an AK is really nice. Have a bit of extra cash as well. And you always feel much more confident when, well, not always, but you definitely feel some confidence when you have an AK on the CT side. Just that one shot kill potential is, feels really good to wield on the defense. But alas, that will not be the reality there for Impression. But he can get an M4 and Kevlar and have some nades, so he'll be fine. Orb comes out onto Splashki, and they need this round pretty badly to stop VG, because VG is starting to get in the groove. And we've seen a couple of really important clutches from them to do that. So right now I feel like VG are much, that they are in control of this game right now. This is Boots' chance to stop that. VG, they're going to try something new.
Splash AWP, no Kevlar. Impression has made a play into main. You see the bomb is going towards Squeaky. And that may cause a delay for VG. And with 2 players by Squeaky, how much will they be able to do in the next 20 seconds or so? Uh-oh. That sound cue from Impression. Do VG understand what that means?
Yeah, that's a big one, isn't it? It's a big tell, especially because I believe they've been caught doing that, like boosting up there. I think that was this half. Some more nades into middle for some pressure from VG. Denied information from Boots. And they will be heavily denied here. Actually, mid is so heavily abandoned right now. That's a really big issue. Impression is afraid of mid. You can see he's wanting to check highway. He knows the split is coming. And that split is going to completely crush the boost position. It's the one heavy weakness. And Boots, they gambled, and they gambled wrong. After losing mid, they rotated that player to B instead of back to A to hold highway. So that's what screwed them in this round, I think.
Yeah, that was unfortunate for Boot and VG. The awareness levels are high, it seems. And I agree with you. I think they are in good stead at the moment. I mean, we saw aggression from Boot. They took main, and then boosted up. But yeah, I know it's interesting.
Yeah, you have to know what's going on highway. I think if you're playing the boost, just because the boost is really good until someone gets into where Fancy is there. That's the problem. That position completely crushes the boost. So VG, they are still looking really in control here. We do have an AWP on Spashki. Managed to keep that one going, and that's going to be a big focal point here for Boots to try to create something. But right now, they are looking a little bit lost on this CT side. VG starting off around slow once again, keeping that pace somewhat consistent for the time. And this is a very similar opening to the previous round, except they don't have 2 on Squeaky, and the bomb is down and useless instead. It's delayed mid-take as well.
Tommy forced away from his position, but he sees nobody lurking outside the B-bomb site. What does he make of this? Because it's one thing for the T's to see you leave. It's another thing to leave and not see a T. No one holding the angle. Splash on the highway position. Tommy picked off from mid in the vent, I believe. And now VG are moving in for a split. Benkai's on his own, creeping into the corner with just to see that there's one. He's got to find another one at 180. How does he get that? What happened to that spray from Freeman? And that's given Bombastorg a great opportunity to stop the bomb from crossing to the site. There is a smoke down on lower, a smoke in the front of the site as well. 18 seconds for this bomb to go down. Lovely has to carefully reposition. Would have been exposed to CT, so he has to go for the bad plant. One smoke down. 3 versus 2. Shokin gets there eventually.
Ooh.
Lovely picks up the rest, and that is another round in the bag for VG.
So one cool thing about that round is VG ran the same utility as the previous round, except this round they did a B split instead of an A split. So they're trying to make Boot paranoid of losing the round in the same way they lost the previous one, and then actually just mixing up where they end up. So I think that's really cool. I think that does show a great degree of thoughts into what VG have been doing. And it works out for them. You know, they had to clutch it to save the day. But that was only because of an excellent play with that CZ. That was like the 180, but still very accurate. That's some good mechanics right there. The 180 reset and still being like instantly available to just snap onto heads. So very, very cool stuff. And that's something that, you know, we expect, or that we know to expect from the Asian region, is that there will be a lot of players who do have good mechanics. So that's been fun to witness so far. But 11-11, VG with a strong comeback so far, and they don't look like they're going to slow down anytime soon. Clearly they have a great plan, or great confidence and in their plan for their T side, and it's been working pretty well so far. Very delayed into middle this time.
48 seconds on the clock. Shokin spots one by the sandbags. Got to be careful though. Not an easy angle to spray. Impression caught in absolute no man's land. What was he doing there? Maybe expecting more safety behind that Molotov, but there was space. Now Tommy's been picked off. Seems this round may be lost in mid for Boots. 3 players picked off in mid with less than 40 seconds on the clock. And now the B bomb site is completely empty because Boot were focusing on mid, it seems.
Yeah, I think the mid focus was pretty good, because, you know, VG, like, one of the reasons why, you know, delayed mid take is strong is that around the middle sort of portion of the rounds, CTs generally tend to leave only one person in mid, whereas they might start with more people in mid, and so it makes it easier to take. And that's been exploited so much, so consistently by VG. Boot finally react by saying, all right, let's just put 3 people in mid, and still they can't actually win the battles there. But if they had won those battles, that does create a lot of problems for VG. So I like that we see that, you know, Boot are problem solving here. They're trying to fix the weaknesses, or trying to exploit the approach of VG, but they just didn't have the firepower there in mid.
Brofists all round. Between round Brofists seem to be very international. Worldwide Brofist Appreciation Club is at maximum capacity. And now Boots are in a tough situation. A save is most certainly needed here. Splash has the AWP. And a bunch of pistols. He has a crappy spawn as well, Splash. So he won't be making an early splash in this round. Look at those spawns. Those spawns suck. Alright, so let's see what Boot choose to do. More or less a default in terms of where the personnel are going. Benkai has gone back to buy some extra grenades. And VG may keep it simple towards the B bomb site. In between two players, they are heading towards the AWP, but will they continue? Splash pop flashes himself. Now they're setting up for all kinds of carnage. Looking away from the issue. What was that? That was very quick indeed, but how many more can he get from this?
They've got to know that he's there, but there's so much chaos. He's moving around. Maybe he's going to find his way back into B storage. How does he do this? This is really interesting. Yeah, he's going to go for a pop flash play. What's he going to get? Nice no-scope coming in from Splashski as he stays alive here. And the T's are all on the bomb site. So this is very retakeable here for Boots. If only they had an incendiary. He's going to swap out for the AK. Going to be nading headshot. And the CTs will start to go in. Is there a way for them to push down these players, force them out of these positions? There's the first frag. That will force the rest of the T's to come and peek to try to frag. And it is that's the first round Boot have won since the first couple rounds of this half. The first proper buy versus buy they've won.
Ooh, how much time has he got? Okay, he's good. Ooh. That was quite something. They saw the AWP was there, and they were not able to stop it. That first frag from Splash. Woo! That was quite something.
Yeah, that was really nice. And there is sometimes I think people forget to look for it, and I think he did see it after when you throw the nade from the sunroom box. You can actually be spotted by where he was standing. Like the head can be spotted, and I'm not sure if he was looking for that. But either way, again, it's been a couple frags over in that position there, trying to make the way onto the boost area. Ooh, that's a big miss.
That's a big miss.
3 versus 5 for Boots, and just after winning a round, this is not a good result.
Yeah, this is the kind of round that will lose you a map this late in the game. 1 frag for Boot, but what information do they have as to what exactly is going on here? Only 2 players remaining for Boot. Molly is down. There's 1 frag. He knows that 1 more player is there. That was an important one to get, but he can't do it. 1 versus 3 for Benkai. Does he make a play through the smoke, perhaps? Fancy's about to flank him from the A site, so he's gone beyond the angle. But there's no way he's looking. Ooh, he's okay. Fancy missing the mark there. 1 versus 2 now. Benkai has a kit. Surely he goes for it now. They really can't afford to lose this round. How does he avoid a 1 versus 1? He'll make his way towards headshot. Freeman peeks though. Won't allow him to even make a play there. And that is Vici Gaming in the lead.
Lovely is almost up to 16k there.
In all kinds of leads. Monetary lead, round leads.
Oh yeah, it's a bad look for Boots. Norp is bought by Splashski though. So they're going to actually force buy this one. And if they lose this round, that might be their lot for map 1 if they're not careful. This is looking very, very dodgy.
Slow start from Vici. Again, if you have a good read on your opponent's economy, you will not want to run into any desperation plays. Freeman spots 1. Jumping onto that box, you've got to be careful, because when you jump on, it does expose you to a C2 who might have been connector, which was smoked, or short B, the white box in mid, which was molotoved. So Just bear that in mind. You don't get up there for free if you're in a mid position as a T. So you must be expectant. What can Boot rescue from this round? See the AWP there in the middle of B. And it's not going to... The bomber will not send it in a direction which will be favourable if Boot were outside the B bomb site. Lovey's on a max 10, but he's towards the A site, so I don't think he'll be collecting the AWP. Boot are in trouble. This is the first map of best of 3 series. I do believe that Dust 2 is the map to follow this one. Almost a complete wipeout. You can see Benkai hoping for something, but all hopes have been dashed. 14 to 12 now. Are Boot going to force buy, or are they going to play against map point? They've bought nothing so far. Tactical timeout has been called by Boots. BOOT. Boot backwards is tube.
And that's still not a word. It's not a word, James. Tube is not a word. Is it? I don't think it is.
I don't think it is.
Yeah.
It's almost tube, almost tomb, but it's neither.
Yeah, so it's a rough situation. I mean, I think 2 force buys is probably what I would do, because that gives you 2 chances versus 1 kind of terrible chance, and they'll start things off and get wrecked. The weird thing though is that they decided to go for the 1 chance, but they bought a Deagle in the P250, so it's another one of those spots where it's like if you're gonna just go for a save this round, just save everything. Save everything, because you're already saying that you're going to put the biggest emphasis on the next round. You've already decided not to force buy twice, so you need to just save everything. So I'm not sure. I don't like the fact that they got a Deagle and a P250. We'll see how it impacts things in this next round, which is... Yeah, so...
It's weird choices. Why handicap yourself?
Yeah, they could have had more nades.
It's like the adding stars on the Street Fighter 2 menus. Like, why?
Yeah, like if you get kills, doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is this round, and so now they've handicapped this round slightly. So you just got to like think about what are you trying to achieve. Just do that thing.
This is what the coaches are for. Yeah, this is inconsequential.
Either way, it will be 5 M4s and a limited assortment of grenades, and they are not looking in good shape at the moment. VG playing it slow as per usual. They do actually already have someone up on the boost, which is nice, I think. Or is that? No. Okay, I'm mistaken. Sorry, he's in T main. A main. I am mistaken.
Stop misleading our audience, Dan.
Sometimes it's difficult to tell if you're just looking at the mini-map. If they're on the boost or not. Or in T main. So, 3 players on A for Boots. They voided mid, but at least this time they'll have somebody hopefully looking at highway. That is really exposed. If they YPQ you on highway, you're probably quite dead in that position.
Boots committing 3 players to A. VG, again, they're waiting for desperation, but look at the time. Now this starts to move into the advantage of the Boot players. The 2 B players haven't deployed a smoke grenade yet. I don't know why at this point. And look at that. That is absolutely perfect. 4 unanswered frags. A clean round from Boot. They are only 2 rounds away from overtime. That is a huge round for them. Huge plays. But I think that VG gave them too much of nothing over the course of that round.
Yeah, it's a really well-timed pop flash. It's one of those spots where it's like it's just at that time in the rounds they're either there or they're not. So really nicely done. There's a chance now. It's a small chance. Well, it's actually a fairly reasonable chance. Just need 2 rounds. They got a decent buy. For VG, the pressure is starting to mount though, because was not the desired results, and they are so close to taking the map. You do not want this to go to overtime.
I can see why you would say small chance, though, because essentially, from the bye round onwards, it's a 9-2 half in favour of VG.
Yeah.
So in that sense, they do have a small chance. But you never know when the swing of mental momentum, if you will, can change things. And now VG may fear a comeback, and that may cause them to second-guess themselves or be hesitant, and hesitation can cost you, excuse me.
I really don't like that position on the box to like check mid. Or like if Shoking just peeks, he's just going to immediately annihilate that guy. Or maybe not. Apparently not. Tommy wins the battle. So Fancy's going to go straight in here. The push is initiated into the A site. 3v3. Spashki will get annihilated, and Freeman will hold on to those forward positions. He's going to back off now for a post-plant setup as we enter the 3v2 after plant for VG. They are looking good to take this one. Even better, the trade's there, but it's still a 2v1. Can Bobosaur clutch this for his team? He has to win this 1v2, and there's the first frag. No trade is possible. Or maybe it is. Freeman with the delayed peak, and that's going to be that. 16-13. Map 1 will go to VG.Flash Gaming.
Ultimately, I think Boots simply did not have any answers to Vici's T side. 2 rounds separated in the second half, but beyond that, it was pretty much all Vici Gaming. Nice warm-up for them moving into the remaining 2 maps of this best-of-3 series if it goes all the way. So I think that was a solid map of Counter-Strike for VG.
Yeah, they definitely had a lot of things to deal with, and they really came into their own on that second half, which was encouraging to see. And it's going to be really curious, though, where this goes, because I think we saw a lot of stuff from Boots that we maybe didn't expect after the first map that we saw. So definitely a lot of these teams with surprises to show us.
After the break, it will be Dust 2 between these 2 teams. So stay tuned, and we'll see if Boot can take it to a 3rd map.